Tortoise in the game, ready to ignite. Put up a fight, gonna leave them all in fright. Playing Magic the Gathering on a Saturday night. Summoning creatures, casting spells with all his might. Sipping on more coffee to stay awake and bright. Caffeine rush fueling his creativity inside. Got a YouTube channel where he's shining so bright. MTT3, the show that takes flight. He's a lyrical beast, spitting fire with every bite. Rap metal flow, pounding beats to win sight. No one can stop him, he's on a meteoric height. Super fast Tortoise, the champion of the fight.
Good morning, hope you're up. Enjoy that coffee in your cup. Good morning from the shelf. Super fast Tortoise does so well. Sit back, relax, time to chillax. Face the facts, morning coffee show intact. Let's enjoy the show, let's enjoy the flow. Morning coffee is the best. Chatting with friends, we are blessed. To the mood, coffee for every dude. Have fun, enjoy the show. Let this channel grow. Let's enjoy the show. Morning coffee is the best. Chatting with friends, we are blessed. To the mood, coffee for every dude.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the show of Super Fast Tortoise. Interesting thing I've noticed is as soon as I started the live and started going to the intro, 4 people decided to go live. Normally don't go live this turn. I think we're hitting a hot spot. People are realizing.
Yeah.
This is good morning.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning indeed. I think
It's a good morning.
Yeah, it's right. Good morning.
For some people.
For some people, it's a great morning. It's a good morning. No matter where you sit, where you are, as long as you have a nice hot cup of coffee or a libation of your choice, I hope you're relaxing. Yeah, and relaxing, because today we're going to have a dubious show of fun stuff going on.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So, outside the world of magic, talking about some random stuff. Lately, my wife's been on a kick of watching Halloween movies, like slasher films and ghost stories and stuff. I'm like, come on, Halloween's still a month away.
Halloween.
Halloween.
I'm just gonna hide right here in my cup until the end.
Yeah, like have you guys been doing anything to celebrate Halloween this early? Well, we're actually getting to the month of October in a couple days, though.
Well, before you know it, they'll be celebrating Halloween in January.
You're right, January.
January.
Like Christmas in July, Halloween in January.
It's actually very appropriate. You know, I'd rather celebrate Halloween all year round than just get like the candy put out in 2 months ago and already ready. Buy your candy and costumes now. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Well,
no, we need to have Halloween and Easter.
That'd be epic. You got the ghastly crypt and demon coming around, laying demonic candies all over the floor, looking like blood splatters and thrills. And the kids wake up to a murder scene where everything's edible. Yummy.
Stop!
No! Don't eat that. It's Soylent Green.
Soylent Green. Soylent Green is people.
The scary story made me retreat into my cup.
That's called Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Hey, before you know it, they'll have a horror Easter bunny. You know, Easter bunny lay eggs. Then when you open those eggs eat you.
I think somebody did a movie about that, actually. I think I remember seeing a Easter thriller that had like a ravenous demonic Easter bunny. And no, it wasn't Donnie Darko.
Have you seen the movie Alien? Little Easter creatures lay eggs, and the eggs hug your face, impregnate you with an alien that busts out of your chest and try to kill everybody else.
Is that not how everybody else knew Easter was, or?
Right.
Fact.
That's right. Like, my wife loves the Alien series, but my wife gets on weird kicks. Sometimes she'll start watching Christmas movies, like in the middle of the year, far away from Christmas. Like, it's a Hallmark movie. It's a cute movie. It's a little romance movie. Then all of a sudden she'll switch from that to like hardcore death slashers or stories.
When I see Christmas movies here in my house, I retreat to my office.
Retreat. I like there's some good Christmas movies. I mean, come on. Like, one of the most overrated movies of all time is always fun to watch year round is The Nightmare Before Christmas. You know, that movie has a following. I remember seeing that movie in theaters when it was first available, and I'm like,
that has a three holiday market. You can Nightmare Before Christmas, Halloween, up to Christmas, so which means Thanksgiving. You can watch Nightmare, right there. Then from there, Christmas. That's a huge season for one film. When you're talking seasonal film, just saying. Die Hard, you only get it in December.
Right,
Die
Hard.
I retreat back in my office. And it's still hot out there. It ain't nowhere close to Christmas. That's when I retreat back to my office.
Yeah, Tortoise, I'm going to make you feel really old. You said you were watching that in theaters. I was nowhere near born yet when the film came out. Nowhere near.
That's fine. My son's girlfriend is like in her early 20s. She's a diehard. She's like a diehard Nightmare Before Christmas fan, and she wasn't even alive when the movie came out. I'm like, how far has this reached? Like,
I was -8.
Right? like how far has this reached? Like, it's somehow magically gone through the times. It's one of those movies that I'm glad they never ever made a sequel to, because how would they ever top it, right?
They kind of did make a sequel, but it's only on the PS2, and
it was in video game form. But Tim Burton had that was Disney that did the video game form, kind of the sequel. But Tim Burton had intended to do a whole series of holiday themed things with the doors at the beginning of the movie, because they were the doors that went to the different holiday worlds. And he intended to do a whole series, but after he dealt with Disney making it, because when you deal with the with Disney, you have to do things the Disney way, and Tim Burton did not like doing that, So after that, they ruined James and the Giant Peach for him, and they ruined Nightmare Before Christmas. He walked away.
James and the Giant Peach was a good film, though. I like that more than Nightmare Before Christmas.
Well, it was a good film, but the problem is that Disney had their hands in it and told them what to do.
Oh yeah, they did that. I'm pretty sure that happened. They're controlling the kitchen. Too many. Not too many, but like there was one cook in the kitchen who wanted everybody to cook the same style, same recipe, kind of thing. It worked this way. But my nephew really loved James and the Giant Peach so much. He used to sing the songs from the movies all the time. So I got bored one day and influenced my nephew to learn how to turn regular songs into rap songs. And so he like turns every song into a rap song if possible. Like one time during Christmas season, during the winter season, he was building a snowman and rapping about the snowman the whole time.
Wow.
It was funny. It's funny. Now he grows up, and every time we talk, he's like, "Oh, look, I came up with this rap." And this guy's like in his 20s and near 30s. He's like, I read up a rap about this song, and like I did that. So somehow in my life, I taught him how to be creative. It's funny.
Oh,
we need more of that in the world, to be honest. So Nightmare Before Christmas came out in 1993. I was a junior in high school when that movie came out. And I remember going to see it with my girlfriend at the time. And she's like, "What is this? This is frighteningly horrifying." And I love it. And I remember that.
I was
a senior in 93.
I was 6.
Shush, the adults are talking.
I was 9 years old when that movie came out.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt the geriatric ward.
That's twice today. Twice in 24 hours I've been called geriatric. Kaz came into the stream and called me geriatric last night.
Nice. Nice. So let's see who's in chat. Let's say hello to people in chat. We got Dr. Dirty Red. Dr. Dirty Red, what's up? Cosmic Seeds. Whoa, whoa. Cosmic Hellwheeler. Woo. I was learning to walk when that movie came out. Oh man. See, 93 was a golden year for me. Mortal Kombat came out. Power Rangers are coming out not too long after that or during that time. The Nintendo was huge. Like Beast Wars is
talking about my childhood right there.
Magic the Gathering came out that year.
Yeah.
So it's like 93 was a good year.
93 was a good year. 90s were fun anyway. Fun in general.
Yeah, like I'm surprised my parents let me play Mortal Kombat at such a young age. But man, we loved Mortal Kombat 1, 2, 3, Ultimate 3, Trilogy, Mortal Kombat 4, 5. I got my favorites in Mortal Kombat, but they're all good. I loved them.
I like the reboot on like number 9 on PS3.
Yeah.
Arcade cabinet version is 2. 2 is the best when you're dealing with arcade cabinets.
Yeah.
2 was really good. 3 was all right. Ultimate was better. Trilogy just was weird. It was good, but it was weird. It's too much for the systems to handle. PlayStation did better, but the 64 had a better version of the character. The characters. It was weird.
Yep.
But Mortal Kombat 4 was. I remember playing that game and having fun with that. And I wish I got to play Mortal Kombat Gold, but I never owned it. Never owned the game on Dreamcast, even though I did own a Dreamcast at one point. But Mortal Kombat 5 was one of my favorite games because I had the sidestepping. I loved that. I abused the system out of it. I used it all the time and did really good. That's when I started loving Scorpion as a character the most. And Scorpion stayed my favorite character for now. Now I play Mortal Kombat. Get over here. That's right. You played
Liu Kang's story arc was weird because he went from becoming a human, from being human, to being killed, becoming a zombie, then being resurrected and becoming a god.
Oh, it's the whole storyline is a crap show. It's a crap show. All right, like if you follow the storyline from the beginning, it seemed obvious to me that Goro should have taken the helm at the time of betrayal to become the Dragon Lord or the King of Mortal Kombat because he was in the best position to do so.
Yeah,
they never did it. And it always pissed me off when they came out with Deception, they brought Onaga into the game. I'm like, oh, Goro finally became a god and he became the leader. Nope, he's not the boss fight enemy. It's some other guy. I'm like, wasted potential. Goro is one of the strongest creatures in the game. Had all the opportunities to take over, but this made him a very loyal servant to whoever's on top, like Shao Kahn, Shang Tsung, all that jazz. I'm like, what? I don't know.
Neither do I.
It's all because Goro got sidetracked with Shiva.
Yeah.
He's like, there's girl versions of me.
Well, you would assume so. I mean, it'd be kind of an awkward planet if from wherever this guy's from to be the only guy that looked like that. I mean, the roids got him as it was, based off of his artwork in that movie. But having an extra set of arms and a face like that, come on, you better hope you're not the only person alive.
Well, I remember when he first came out, the people were saying he's half human, half dragon. That was weird to conceive the idea of. I'm like, how do you make half human, half dragon? Then they made him his own race. But
half human, half dragon takes me back to the anime girl conversation.
Oh no! We're straying away from that conversation.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, I know. I'm just teasing.
Every day we stray further from God.
Captain Waffles.
That sounds like a quote from. It sounds like it should be a quote from The Island of Dr. Monroe, but it's not.
It's a quote from something. I just forgot what.
You forgot what?
But you got to admit, he was like the coolest character in the entire series.
Right. Then they had to dumb him down when they made him playable. That pissed me off.
Yeah, he was the coolest character in the entire series. I'm sorry, everybody hated it when you played against him, but yeah, everybody wanted to play as him.
Oh yeah,
Yep.
right. Then when they came out with Kentaro, they made a tiger version of him. Then they came out with the I don't know what he is. He's like a centaur, not a centaur. The half demon horse.
Montaro or something like that is his name.
Motaro.
Yeah.
Motaro. Yeah, they came out with him for the trilogy series, and it was weird. It was weird, but not as weird as
You are watching Super Fast Tortoise.
Put up a fight, gonna leave them all in fright. Playing Magic the Gathering on a Saturday night. Summoning creatures, casting spells with all his might. Sipping on more coffee to stay awake and bright.
I found myself through the wilderness.
Oh,
Got lost
yeah.
in conversation. We need to find ourselves back on track. Okay, I know I can't sing. All right, but
Neither
so
can I.
we found ourselves in this world. In a world of conversation. We got lost. We need to find our way back on track to go where we are. And only one person here knows how to get back there. Hillbilly, where are we supposed to be?
Card of the day. Combo breaker.
Whoa. So, this is a little tallied card that people don't like to play, and I don't know why. It's actually pretty decent. No, my joke is it should have been on the ban list, but, but no. But like Soul Talisman, like I found this card for $0.25. I'm like done. Like it's not as fast and efficient as Soul Ring, but it still gets there in 3 turns. And it's like one time I actually played this on turn 1, and I'm like, yeah, turn 4, I'm going to be pretty good there. And so Soul Talisman costs 0 mana, but can't be cast for anything, but it has to be suspended. So you pay 1 to suspend 3. And that means you have to wait 3 turns before it comes into play, and it taps for 2 mana, just like Soul Ring. And it's a good card. It's a decent card. It's a budgety card. It's not horrible, but I like to run it because it's still mana ramp in all the best ways.
Yep.
It's low tier, but it's still powerful. I think this should be at least a $2-3 card, but it's a $1 card. But like I said, I found it for $0.25, and I was happy as get out.
I'd run it.
Yeah. Well, what do you guys think of the card?
I'm a cynical fucking competitive player, so I think this card is trash, but
yeah. Right. So
I mean, the only way you can really make this powerful is cheating into play with Cascade.
which if you're cascading into a Soul Talisman rather than something else, you're having a bad day, my friend.
No, I understand that. What I'm saying is if you want to get something out of it and fast, Cascade's the only way to really get this thing out fast.
Right, and there's ways to do it. There's cheap Cascade cards and Discovery cards that'll make it worth it comparatively, like the 3 mana ones. I was about to say 2 mana, but I don't believe there's 2 mana Cascade or Discover. But yeah, there's ways around that for sure. But I played it and it kicks butt. Like for the mid range decks, this is actually not horrible. For the super aggro decks, this is like trash for sure. But I like it as a card. It's still a good card.
It's interesting.
Yeah, like it does what it wants. It does how you expect it. It's one of those cards you kind of plan around it. Like in a mono green deck, even though you wouldn't run this, but in a mono green deck, you kind of like, okay, well in the late game, I'll need this mana for like this big old worm creature or something like that. And you'll be like, okay, we'll plan that out for the future. And when that comes to play, I'll be able to cast this creature more in time. I saw this. I played this and it helped me get my commander out faster. After turn 4, I got my commander out turn 5 after it got obliterated because no one likes Kali the Vast, and it helped me cast her again, even though that deck needs more help. But yeah, it's just a card of the day because it's kind of on theme to the topic. But it's not horrible. There's better versions of this card out there, but I like it. I'm rolling on from the card of the day. We're going to start rolling on the picture of the day, and you'll notice there's kind of a theme with the pictures of today. And I did it because, man, it's just fun. Yeah, coffee, good. Feel the dark roast flowing through your veins.
Yes.
That's right. Look at it.
Yes. Feel the dark roast floating through your veins.
That's right. Feel it. Oh man, I love the strong coffee taste. Then the next one is help me caffeine. You're my only hope.
Classic.
I like this picture because they actually put a cup in her hand. They edited a cup in her hand. I'm like, finally, they got the meme right. Then the next picture, we've seen before, but I had to do it. My coffee, I like it on the dark side.
Don't tell me you like Star Wars.
I'm okay with Star Wars. I'm not a super big fan, but there are people who are bigger fans of Star Wars than I am. But I went on a theme today because we're debating. I don't know if it's going to be a full-on debate, but
I'm willing. I'll yell.
yeah. If you didn't make coffee, you failed me for the last time, Admiral. I saw this. I'm like, I have to use this, and this is what actually led me down the trail. I'm like, I saw this Star Wars thing, and I'm like, okay, what other Star Wars things are out there?
This kind of reminds me of an incident from yesterday. I actually forgot to make some coffee when I finished the pot off, and my roommate came out and says, I had to make coffee. You're evil.
Evil. Do not even try. I have not had my coffee yet. That's right. But then, we roll on to coffee, please. Look at that face. You need coffee. It's probably too young for coffee. You know, he's like 50 years old. But
I heard it'll stun his growth.
Right? But the last picture I chose because I just had to. He's talking to me before I had my coffee. You like living dangerously, don't you? That's it. Look at that face, stubborn face. Yes, you need the morning. I haven't had my coffee yet. Why are you even talking?
Live dangerous.
That's right. Like they need to do a Darkwing Duck version of this, like this meme, you know.
Let's get dangerous.
That's right. You got it. Darkwing Duck. If you don't know Darkwing Duck, you're probably too young for that reference.
I know it.
Yep.
All right. Now,
Good old Disney.
pictures of the day. If you ever want a picture of the day shared on the show, just go to Discord, post a picture of the day in the Discord channel, and you'll find yourself on the show with the picture of the day, just like the question of the day, which is
Presented by Discord. We have the question of the day.
okay. So this is going to take a minute because I forgot to upload the question of the day because I got sidetracked or something. So the question of the day is brought to us by TCG Dude. TCG Dude came here with the question of the day. He posted on Discord. Like, if you have a question of the day, you can post on Discord and you'll find yourself on the show asking the question of the day. And the question of the day, well, I'm waiting for it to load up. It's loading. How to edit it. Give me a second. The one thing I forgot, and it's a bigger file. And the question of the day is...
What up, y'all? TCG Dude here. And my question for you is, what cards are you going to use as a replacement for the now banned Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus? I'm going to be using Chrome Mox and Lotus Bloom.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, I ain't got those cards. I haven't had those cards, so heck, replace them. I have not used them.
That's a good question, though. Like, Lotus Bloom, not too far off from Soul Talisman, but better than Soul Talisman. I've been using Soul Talisman because it's the budget option and can afford the really expensive options of the Mana Crypts and such. Well, before I know it's kind of topical, but I never thought the Jeweled Lotus should have ever been printed. I actually owned a well-fetched copy of the card, and I sold it because I didn't want to play it in my play group, and I thought it was busted and not busted, but just it was a card I just didn't believe should have ever been made. So I just sold it to get rid of it and be like, no, this is trash and whatever. so I had an opportunity to run Jeweled Lotus. Fast mana being fast mana, whatever. Is there cards you're going to use instead of the banned cards when it comes to non-roll zero games? Because like if they're roll zero games, you'll be able to play the cards of roll zero games. Questions open for everybody.
Okay. Ah, boy.
Well, I don't know if I'd have anything to say about this because I'm still working on building my first deck. So I'm like privileged to be able to play with whatever cards they give me right now.
So you're not gonna like my answer because I'm cynical, and this ban legitimately I sold all my Commander collection. I'm done with it.
Oh,
so
wow.
I'm cynical. I'm like, nope, I don't trust the rules committee anymore. I'm done with this, which is I'm sure I'll be getting into later.
All right.
I find it funny that Mana Vault is becoming a replacement when realistically it should have already been in the 99.
Dude, that thing skyrocketed up by like 95% on price. It's insane.
That's why I mentioned it, because I find it interesting that that's going up in price when it should have already been in the 90s. But for me, it's probably just replacing Mana Crypt with a land. Like there's no other real substitute. Yeah, Ancient Tomb if you don't have it. If you do have it, then you just put another type of land in.
Right.
Maybe like a City of Traders or a Lotus Vale or something.
Is Cradle.
All right. So with that, my friends, we're going to get to...
Hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the creep.
Too much to take. So it's lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise. Building a following as we gain. Spitting fire like a dragon. No one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house. We own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
All right. Well, I probably didn't see you earlier. Hello, Gaby Bob. What's up? So there's a lot to be discussed. What was that, Billy?
I said, "What's up, Bob?"
All right. Bob says hello. All right. So there's a lot to be discussed. Like, getting into the topic of the ban list again, and yeah, we know it's salty for some people. We know it's definitely great news in the fact that it's shook up the world, and there's a lot of, and when I use the word great, I don't mean like let's get ecstatic about it. I mean it's pushing content out there for people. It's pushing a lot of emotions out there. There's a lot of great effects going on. People are affected by this ban, and like Mana Crypt Keeper was saying, you know, he sold off his collection because he can't trust the commander community. Oops, we lost somebody. So
yeah, that was Captain Waffles.
Right. So there's a lot into this. Now, I don't know how much of a debate this is going to be because I'm pretty sure we'll agree with a lot of stuff you're going to say, but we're going to have our opinions about certain things that might just differ a little. So if you feel heated, get heated. Like the whole ban list is the whole banning on top of everything is just really confusing to why they did it. But there was a portion where they said I wish I would have clipped it, but there's a article I was reading where they're saying there's future cards coming out that they're basically going to replace these cards in effect, or might be too powerful with these cards. So, and I'm using quotes because I'm just going off memory here. It's interesting. Like to quit a format like Mana Crypt Keeper said he did, which is pretty dramatic on the dramatic side. But I can't complain. That seems reasonable, especially for the collector side of things. Mm-hmm. You know, where you're going to be, especially being a hyper competitive player, because a lot of us here are not hyper competitive. I know Captain Waffles is more of a competitive player than most everybody here.
I've been playing competitively for almost 10 years now. Yeah.
Well, I was about to say compared to Mana Crypt, because out of the people who are you hear most of the time, like on the show, Captain Waffles is the one who's played more of the tournaments than we have, like modern tournaments and stuff like that. So having your opinion and your view is actually more interesting to hear and listen to So I don't know how much of a debate it's really going to be.
It might just be about my separate points themselves and my reasoning behind certain things. I'm down to fucking fight anybody. Let's do it.
Put them up. Put them up.
Like, because for a lot of us, the ban list didn't affect us. And then does that make sense? Like, it didn't affect us. Like Dockside Extortionist has got to come out of one deck. Nadu's got to come out of a deck, and that's it for me. Like, I'm the one here who's being affected the most in Commander when it comes to following the rules.
Yep.
But, for Rule 0, like I said, I don't know if I told you this earlier. I think I told you before the show. I don't know if you're listening. But, like, there's at least one shop that I know of that's doing the Rule 0. And they're promoting it, saying Mana Crypt's playable, Jeweled Lotus is playable, Extortionist is playable at their LGS. And that's kind of funny because, like, I know people have been doing stuff like that because one of our local game stores on the other side of town, Rule 0's Soul Ring is banned from the format.
Oh, God. I hate places like that.
I'm just saying.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot into it, right? And like, and there's one thing I've talked to you about one of my posts. The one you said brought points is like there's times I had cards reprinted because people thought reprinting cards was going to destroy values of cards. Mostly, like that was their main thought. Oh God, watch out what they're going to reprint, but like no one expected a ban to destroy the price of Jeweled Lotus because I think Jeweled Lotus is suffering the most when it comes to prices right now because the Mana Crypt is still like $100.
It's still played in vintage.
Right. No, Jeweled Lotus is completely dead. Like I know you said you sold all your Commander stuff. Like I said, I don't blame you for doing what you do. That was your personal decision there.
Come on, Tori, you got to be more confrontational with me. Come on, man, let's do this.
I'm not very confrontational.
I'm not either. Let's do it.
But like, I do think what should happen because I mentioned to you in that comment that I made on Discord was CEDH needs to become its own animal now. Like, with its own ban list, own restriction list. Like I don't know if you agree with that or disagree with that.
I agree.
But like, CEDH needs to become its own thing, separate from Commander, like basic Commander, because like there kind of is a divide between CEDH and Commander already. But like, let's sanction it. Like the Wizards is starting to support 1v1 Commander. Let's sanction 1v1 CEDH. Let's get that ban list, that rules list. I mean, it'd be like America's version of Canadian Highlander, but worldwide.
Canadian Highlander.
Yeah.
Canadian Highlander.
I don't think I saw that part of the Highlander series.
Right. But my pitchfork is out for repairs. My torch hasn't dried out since I dropped it in the toilet. Hey, Cane Shaker, what's up?
Cane Shaker.
Cane Shaker.
So there's just a lot going on. Like was the news huge? Yes, it was great beyond rapport, and like it's not happy news. It's more dramatic, especially for the people who are just hardcore collecting some of these cards. Because like one of the things that people keep bringing up in their videos and lives is these cards are not in a lot of decks. People are just collecting these like for value. And oh my lord, when the value dropped, especially on Jeweled Lotus, it dropped.
Yep. Yeah, I can understand the collection wise, how it hurt the collectors, but for the normal players, not CEDH, but the normal players, it did not affect them too much because most of them don't run those cards.
Mm-hmm.
There might be a few that run the cards, but mostly they don't. But therefore, I can understand where the collectors are complaining and are hurting because of the bans, because they did this bans too quick, too many cards, and all the cards were high value.
Oh yeah.
Well, this brings in.
And it was just all at once drop.
I have to disagree. This was not too long. I mean, Mana Crypt has been legal in the format since its inception. It's an eternal format, and Mana Crypt has been printed forever ago. Dockside Extortionist has been legal since 2017, since the Commander Precons, and Jeweled Lotus has been legal since it was like 2021, 2020 when Commander Legends came out. So this has been brewing, and there's zero reason, 0 point to these bans. And I see a whole bunch of people celebrating like, oh, it doesn't affect us. You're casual players. That's so close-minded to say, oh yeah, it's not that big of a deal. There is an entire community of high power / CDH players and the collectors out there that this is ruining them. And it's not so much about the value and the powerful cards being banned as it is now we just don't trust the rules committee. That's the issue. These are power-hungry people. And I have basis behind that because of the Hull Breacher ban from a few years ago, from Commander Legends. Right. I sat and I had a conversation with one of the men who was on the rules committee last year at MagicCon, and I had a conversation with him about the Hull Breacher ban. There was no argument other than, oh, it's a salty card. Notion Thief still exists. Yeah, it's 1 more mana and it's a black mana. Who cares? It's
Opposition agent.
Op agent, yep. I think what happened is the dude played against Hull Breacher and Golos and got salty about it and decided that they should try to ban it. I think it's the same thing with Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus. These are salt bans. Nadu, salt ban. 100%.
Yeah. So this brings up the argument. This brings up the argument of, is it the playability of the card that makes it collectible, or is it the scarcity of the card that makes it collectible? Things like that. And so, like Bob mentioned the other night, a lot of these cards aren't even in decks. So is it the fact that they could be playable that gave them the value and people were hoarding them for value? I don't know what route it's going to take, but obviously this disrupts the whole ecosystem of Magic, of the collector and the player. Now, the interesting thing that I heard the other day, the theory on this, is because these 4 cards are specific commander cards. Even Nadu, by the game designers themselves who created Nadu in Modern Horizons, said Nadu was specifically designed for Commander. All 4 cards were Commander cards because Mana Crypt was a promo that was never legal in Standard or any other format other than Commander. Dockside Extortionist was created in Commander. It was in a Commander deck when it came out. Jeweled Lotus. Yeah, Jeweled Lotus made specifically for Commander. Nadu made specifically for Commander. Why is it that 4 cards specifically created for Commander are all banned at the same time? That's the biggest head scratcher, because in reality, these cards outside of Commander have no actual value as far as playability in any format.
Mana Crypt being the only card that fits in other formats, yes.
Vintage, yes.
Yeah, say it's banned in Legacy, it's restricted in Vintage.
Yes. But here's the thing. I agree with what you said earlier. They should have never printed Jeweled Lotus because it literally is Black Lotus for Commander. Yeah, they tried to stipulate it by saying you can only use it to cast your Commander, but it's still Black Lotus. And Black Lotus is banned in EDH. So why would you print a Black Lotus and put it into Commander? It makes no sense to me.
Right.
So realistically,
that's the restriction, though. I think it's a fair card. I don't think that there's anything wrong with Jeweled Lotus. Everyone's just sitting there being like, it's too overpowered. Dude, there's commanders out there that are 10 or 12 mana. All they tried to do was just add access to get those out a little sooner. I had a Cosmic deck, and I had a Jeweled
I'm not against that. The stipulation was perfectly added onto there to make it balanced. Okay.
Right.
The thing that I'm not okay with is the way that they just outright knew for the last year they were going to ban all this stuff. And then they just bring it out without any warning, without any implication of okay, this is what's coming down, no warning at all. It's a huge disservice to the community to just outright, with no talks, no nothing, no news. And so it bothers me on that aspect.
It shows that the RC doesn't trust us to rule 0. That's all it says. They're just so focused on casual play. They want Magic how it was back in 2015. They don't want it as powerful. They don't want it as fast. So instead of trying to rule zero, saying, hey, let's play some lower power games that are going to last a while and like leaving it in the community's hands, they're just going to say, no, we're power hungry people and we want everybody to play how we play. So these cards are now gone.
Oh, yeah.
Well, and the other thing that bothers me is it's three really valuable cards. Okay. Is part of this ban because, well, there's a lot of casual people that can't buy these cards because they're too high costed. So rather than, keep reprinting them and try to bring the price down, we're just going to ban them so that nobody can play them. And it's it makes no sense.
No, and no. I think value has nothing to do with this because we still have Mox Diamond, which is $600, Gaia's Cradle, which is $600, Tabernacle, which is $3,000, Yawgmoth's Will, which is almost $200, Survival of the Fittest, which is over $200. There are countless cards out there. Time Twister, which is like $14K. Those are all still legal, all still playable. This is a salt ban.
Yeah, because you also look at the other argument too is if this is a salt ban, there's a lot more cards that should have been banned. Rhystic Study, Smothering Tide, Gaia's Cradle, like you said, Soul Ring should have been banned. If they're talking about fast mana, you need to get rid of all of the lands that produce more than 2. You need to get rid of all of the Gaia's Cradle, Sarah's Sanctum, I think is banned. I could be wrong.
No, Sarah's Sanctum is the legal one. The Academy that taps.
The Solarian Academy is banned, Academy. But Sarah's Sanctum needs to be banned. Gaia's Cradle, Ancient Tomb, all of these different cards that do the same thing or more need to be banned. And then you need to take away, all of the fast effects treasure producer or card draws like Rhystic and Smothering. I mean, if you want to make this a truly casual format and drag games out, there's a lot of things that you need to ban.
Yeah, like when I first started seeing the news on Facebook, because the first time I heard about the bannings was on the show, and DeLawson was bringing it up. I'm like, I haven't seen this. Normally I'm the first to see this, on Facebook or anything like that. When I was late to the party, that day, even though it happened that day. So when I first saw the post, I'm like, why is Gaia's Cradle on this list? I put that in comments. I'm like, what about other salty cards? I'm like, this ban made no sense. Nadu made no sense to me, but I never played Nadu as a commander. He's only part of the 99, which I got to take out now. But it made no sense, the whole thing, other than when it came up and I thought about it a bit. I'm like, well, if they're going to take this out of commander, CEDH needs to become its own beast, because those cards push more competitive style decks, and the competitive style decks need to exist. And
I mean, let's look at some sanctioned formats, right? Let's look at Legacy and Vintage. Super fast formats. Yeah, some of the games can drag out and be grindy, but majority of the time they're relatively fast. You got Show and Tell, you've got Tendrils, you've got all these different decks that can go pretty quickly, right? And then you've got Modern. When they originally introduced Modern, they banned a lot of, turn 0, turn 1 wins. They wanted to slow that format down because they didn't want it being like Legacy. But you still have fast decks in that format too. And then you get to Standard, and it's a lot slower, same with Pioneer, than its older brothers. Mm-hmm. Let's get into where if we do split Commander, and you have casual, and you have competitive, like I said yesterday, take competitive and say, everything is free game, we're unbanning everything, go. And then collect the data and see what type of cards are overpowering, what cards are causing too much issues, then make a couple bans here and there and kind of filter it out and figure out where to really smooth out the competitive play. Casual, the ban list that's now, leave it for casual. Yeah. You just keep this ban list, and that's casual, because casual is for fun. Casual is for, hey, let's have some long games, and we'll play our group hug decks, and we'll
over quality.
Frolic in the sand and have fun. Whereas competitive goes, hey, Black Lotus is legal, Moxes are legal, everything's legal because in Vintage it's all restricted to one anyway. So guess what? Commander is one of everything too. So let's just throw everything in the mix and everyone just bash it out and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, see, when I was at my local game store, the day after the banning announcement, one of the workers, I don't think he's an owner, but one of the workers of the store was talking to somebody about the ban list. He's like, well, his opinion is, says, I don't mind it. It says, now he said, I'm hoping that CEDH becomes its own format and sanction. And that's where I kind of pulled the idea from, other than just thinking to myself, someone else thought the same thing. And I'm like, okay, that's a good idea to roll with if I'm not the only one thinking about it, because I know I don't play CEDH. My budget doesn't fit CEDH. I'm more casual. But I have a friend who loves CEDH. She plays CEDH all the time. And that's not a format. That's not really a format, but it should be its own format. Even though his pod has their own ban list for their group for what's ban list. There's some cards they've banned for their format. There's some cards they unbanned from Commander for their format. So one of their decks, they play Primeval Titan, which I think should be an unbanned in Commander.
Yep.
And like one card I told them to try out unbanning is Recurring Nightmare. That card is not as powerful as it used to be, But for sure, CEDH needs to be a real thing. It needs to be separate from, I don't know how to do that,
like we talked the other day with making CEDH be a one-on-one format instead of a 4-player, because it's the only way you can really sanction it and make it competitive. Now, I am a competitive player, but I will never, ever, ever play competitive EDH, even if they go that route. I play Commander at a casual level, and I'm okay saying that. I do feel for all of the competitive players for EDH from my competitive side, because this ban is utter bullshit in my opinion. If they ever do make competitive EDH a format, I won't play it, because just like every other person out there, everyone has their favorite format to play. Mine is Modern. Okay. So the thing is give the people what they want and let them play and let them self-regulate this quote unquote casual format. We don't need a rules committee for a format that isn't even sanctioned yet as a actual tournament level play. Now, if we ever get to that point, I think what we need to do is hand over the power from the committee to WotC and let WotC decide what gets banned and what doesn't, and let WotC determine what the competitive format for EDH needs to be.
The only way that they're going to do that is 1v1. I see no world.
Because logistically, you cannot run a tournament with 4-player pods effectively. It has to be 1v1. And back when I first started playing Commander, that's all we played was 1v1 Commander. We didn't play the 4-player pod stuff. It was 1v1. And so I got into it a little bit competitively with playing Maelstrom Wonder and being able to cast it on turn 2 and just absolutely annihilate my opponent. But guess what? They were doing the same thing, because it was the gloves were off. We're going to go at each other just like you would in Vintage or Legacy or Modern. And the best deck's going to win, or the best player. Now it's to the point where it's so watered down and so babied that you have to pretty much play the same deck as your opponent or something of a variant to even compete. And it's not right.
The citizen says it's about CEDH is about to become its own format. You know how I know? Mana Crypt and Jeweled Lotus started going back up in price.
I don't think that has much to do with it. I mean, I've paid it because I'm really into the MTG finance. I got a buddy of mine who's a big collector. I always pay attention to that kind of stuff. Happens with every ban. Every card that gets banned, has 2 or 3 days. It's just plummeting, and then after that, it starts to go up, and then it's just kind of going to stabilize somewhere.
Well, Jeweled Lotus is still collectible. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So when this guy burnt his card and his Jeweled Lotus. It wasn't the only Jeweled Lotus he had, but he burnt one Jeweled Lotus. I'm like, you didn't have to do that. He's like, it's going to be worthless. I'm like, no. My brain is like, no, it's not going to be worthless. It still holds a value. It's still a Black Lotus. It's
still, it has the infamousness of it of being banned.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
right? And if plus, like my thought process, if CEDH becomes its own format, it's going to go back up in price. People are going to play it because you know what? There's a lot of people who are going to play CEDH. I'm just one person who doesn't play CEDH. Hillbilly's a person who doesn't play CEDH. But that's just two of us out of thousands of people, millions of people who do play the game, and who, you know, Mana Crypt Keeper is a very aggressive player. He's really good. He's really, no, I shouldn't say aggressive, but competitive, at least. He's a very competitive player. There's room for him in CDH if you ever got back into it. You know, if that starts sparking up a thing, imagine the content that'll come out. Imagine that diversity that'll say, Commander is for the casuals. CDH is where the pros are, you know.
Why do we have to divert it though? I mean, like I said, just rule 0. There doesn't need to be a split, like because there's high power too, which is right between casual and competitive, which a lot of my play group plays in the high power range, and it's like cool. Well, now we can't play these when we go out to shops and want to play high power. Cool.
Well, the reason why I think it should, the reason why I think it's the only way to go at the moment with the bans is one. Commander already has issues with power levels. You know, you try to get a game with power level 6 through 7, people have different ideas what power level 6 through 7 is. You know, then when you get to competitive, like 8s, 9s, and 10s, some people are going after Commander Salt compared to another website. There's no way to truly balance a format. But there are cards in different decks that definitely go into the more competitive side compared to regular Commander. And I played against decks from other people who definitely go on the more competitive side. Like Captain Waffle's Commander deck, it's not super competitive, but it's pretty solid. It's at a decent power level. I can tell him it's a level 7. But there's people who go through level 8 based on my opinion of what these power levels are. Some people think power 5, they go off Commander Salt, they got like Commander Salt's hard to deal with, right? You get a level 4 deck with 97% synergy. You're working with a level 7 deck off another website. So knowing the difference, knowing what cards make the difference, like some of the cards that make different power levels crazy, especially when you're running the staple decks. Because when you have so many staples in a deck, you're building a pre-formatted deck with just adding some flavor cards you like. Like if
you have a shell and you're just adding to the shell.
Yes. You know, like this was a conversation on someone else's channel the other day where they're like, you know, if you have to run Mana Crypt, Jeweled Lotus, Dockside Extortion for one deck, and like in that same deck, you have to run, like say you're running Jeskai, you're running the white card that creates all the treasures and
Smothering Tithe
and
Rhystic
Study. You know, you're running all the staple cards just to keep in the deck. And you're just building a shell, like you're saying, and you're just adding your own cards to the shell for the win conditions. But then your win conditions normally fall into what's win con. Now, that's like I'm gonna say that's like 60% true, right?
Well, yeah. To touch on your point with perspective, like casual to me is competitive to someone else, or vice versa. So, like, it's really hard to draw that line without splitting the format. You have to split the format and make it definitive because everybody has a different perspective. Like I could look at a deck and be like, wow, that's very competitive. And they look at it and go, this isn't even my most competitive deck. This is a casual deck. And it's like, holy crap, that's like a level 9 and you're calling it casual? Like, so I agree 100% that the format has to be split. Sometimes you literally have to tell everyone, okay, on this side of the line is this, on this side of the line is this.
Yeah.
In other situations, yeah, sometimes you can let things self-govern. But I don't think that can happen in Commander. I think because you have such a broad player base and you have such a different perspective on every different card that's out there, you have to toe the line and tell them where it is. Now, I mean, look at all the formats that are sanctioned. Vintage, Legacy, Modern, Pioneer, Standard. They all have their rules. They all have their lines and what can be played and what can't be played. They're put in place for a reason because Magic has grown so large. There's so many sets that they have to go, okay, we'll take a step back. This is this format. This is this format. This is this format. In these formats, follow the rules and play what's there. And otherwise, you're gonna it would just literally be vintage 100% of the time because everyone would just play everything they can, and you wouldn't have any diversity.
Right. I mean, like it's pretty sad, right?
Diversity, but
what?
I think Commander, there's just automatic diversity
There
included.
is, but
Like there, I don't think if like unbanned, 100% unbanned. Yeah, there's going to be a lot of the same decks that are like really strong, but I don't think that you can ever have like none of them are ever going to be exactly the same. There's not going to be one set deck list in Commander. If everything was unbanned, everything was incredibly powerful. I just don't think that's a possibility. You would still have your Golos. See, do you play Vintage?
Do I?
Yes.
I don't play it, but I follow it.
Okay, I've played it a lot. I've streamed it. I've done a lot of that stuff on MTGO. It's pretty like there's a lot of the same structures and things like that, but at the same time, I just think within Commander the diversity is just it's hard to explain, but it's this. There's shells like we've discussed. There are shells, and then you add on to the shell. In Commander, there wouldn't necessarily just be a shell, and then you add on to it from there.
I disagree. I disagree 100%.
All the different commanders, all the different color combinations. Each color combination has its own win conditions, things like that. Look at Godo. How many other CDH decks do what Godo does? None of them. And then you have like Timnacrom. You have Kenrith that does its own things. And I just don't think that would be a world where, yep, here's your shell. Add like 30 cards in there. I don't see that being a possibility.
Well, you say that.
I disagree.
How many staples do we have in Commander? We're like, if you're running these colors, you're running this card, and this card because they're the staples.
I think compared to how many cards are out there, I don't think that there's that many. I mean, if you're playing blue, you're probably playing Counterspell, Force of Will, Force Negation, etc. But I don't really think that necessarily
you definitely made a line of cards people play.
Yep.
Oh, you're cutting out there.
No, I disagree 100%. I feel like there will be everyone would play some form of situation like Vintage where you're playing all the Moxes, you're playing, Black Lotus, you're playing all of the shell cards. And by the time you're done, it's like 40 cards every deck will have. And then your basic lands, they might, and the other lands, the non-basics will kind of vary here and there. But I strongly agree that the deck list would probably have 70 cards similar between all of them.
See, I think that there's a difference between shell and utility, though. Because, yes, if Black Lotus and all the Moxen were legal, every deck is going to play those that can. I'm not going to argue with that. But at the end, the win conditions of these decks and the other pieces of utility that go into them would all be different.
Okay. I mean, well, let me ask you this. Okay. You've played competitive Magic for a long time, right?
Yes.
Let's use an example of Cobblade. Okay. When Cobblade was the main deck, what other decks were played?
Oh shit! Remind me, Cobblade's format. I was mostly playing Standard until about 5 years ago. The
only decks that were in the Cobblade format was with Jace and all of that going on was the Lotus Cobra Titan Ramp and Valakut and one other deck. There was 4 decks in the format that were top tier. Every tournament that I went to or saw on play were those 3 to 4 decks every single week. And the format became so stale that they had to ban Cobblade because Cobblade was an oppressive deck. I believe that would happen if you went into competitive EDH with that situation of, okay, everything's unbanned. There would become, I would guarantee you, 3 to 4 decks that would be the top decks, and there would be no diversity because no other deck could thrive because it can't push past certain cards. So this is why you would have to ban specific cards in competitive EDH to a certain extent to help diversify the format. That's what I'm trying to get at as far as like, there would be a lot of these competitive decks would die off because there would be 3 to 4 truly top tier number 10 decks that cannot be beat.
Even in CDH now, though, we don't have that. There are like
I know because of the banned cards that are because of certain banned cards.
Much to do with it though, because we still have our staples within the format, and those staples don't make they're not like a copy and paste of like, yes, you play this specific commander. Here's your 100 cards. I know your deck list. Like it's in Modern. Like I sit down and you play a land, and I probably know what you're playing, and I can think about your deck list. And there's going to be little things here and there that are different. But I think Commander, even if we unban everything, there's just too many cards that it's just too diverse. It's like in Vintage too. You know, Vintage, even though we still have our top like 10, 15 decks, there's still a ton of diversity out there and a ton of decks that are still winning tournaments every now and again. Because I pay attention to most formats. I'm always watching like what the challenges are doing on MTGO and such like that. We get these random one-off decks that's like Dredge won in Modern like 2 weeks ago. No one's thought about that in like 5 years.
Yeah, Rogue
and then what happens after that? It disappears for like 6 months and then never comes back again until somebody goes, hey, Dredge is probably positioned pretty well right now.
That deck
specifically, you're gonna get.
What about the other?
You're gonna get those one-ups every once in a while because rogue decks have the surprise factor. But in reality, 90%. I disagree.
It's right. It's okay.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not. There's no hostility here. We're just having a friendly debate.
No,
I still like waffles. I'm having a good time.
Oh, I was just thinking, I'm a silly-headed dum-dum, and I don't know anything. But I grew up in a household where my dad, every time we got even a new version of Monopoly into the house, he insisted on family game night that we read the instructions. Even if we read those instructions 100,000 times, if the game instructions said that you couldn't do this, there was no house rule by throwing $20 every time you pass go into that center for free parking or whatever, you know? So like I was always growing up, if these are the rules of the game, these are the rules of the game. And I'm a silly-headed dum-dum, and I've never taken the time to even look this deep into like why they make the changes that they change. And I can see both sides of your guys' argument here, and I'm like thinking to myself, I really wish they wouldn't remove certain cards because they made the card for the game.
Yeah, rule zero it out. That's
you know, but then again, at the same time, I'm like, a game like Magic is one of those games that are going to probably be eternally changing as the game is improved or whatnot, and find out about these broken cards that people don't want in the sets for some reason around the other. There's got to be some sort of adjustment to the game mechanic as well. So like if you're playing a certain version and the rules are for classic or whatever, you know, that you play a certain way, and then Commander you play a certain way, then them's the rules of the game, I guess. You know, that's the way I grew up. Like I said, I'm a silly-headed dum-dum, and I don't know how this kind of thing works. But
yeah, and you're explaining a little bit of power creep too, because as long as the game keeps evolving and keeps growing, there's gonna be power creep.
I think that keeps it in check.
And no, absolutely, it's healthy for the game. It keeps you know, some things evolving to where it doesn't stay stagnant. But I'm telling you, the way to correct this, in my personal opinion, is to split the format into a competitive and casual, unban everything for competitive, see where it goes, and then make the adjustments from there. That's my whole take on Commander as far as being competitive. And if you want to make it a sanctioned format, it has to be 1v1. It cannot be anything other than that.
Backwoods Collector has a point I agree with, saying without a doubt there will be a shell situation when competitive, otherwise you won't compete, and that happens a lot in regular formats.
Yeah, and that's why they ban things in Modern, in Pioneer, in Standard, and other things, because a certain shell becomes so oppressive that you either play it or you play the deck that tries to beat it, and now you have a very stagnant and boring format.
Oh no, I stopped playing Modern because of the Rakdos scam for like almost a year there last year. I get it.
All we are saying is give bans a chance. Yes, I like the biggest complaint, other than some other cards that should have been banned that I had, is they didn't unban anything. They didn't unban anything with these bans. Like I still put my foot down and say, unban Primeval Titan. I got a copy of them I want to play. Unban Recurring Nightmare. Unban some of those savory cards we want that are not as powerful as they used to be. Like they're still good. I mean, Primetime is still good, but there's better options, but I still like what he does.
Well, especially
Right.
taking out Mana Crypt. Like, if you take out Mana Crypt, you take out Soul Ring and a couple others, Prime Time's not that scary because now you're not seeing a Prime Time come down on like turn 2.
No doubt, Savannah. That's what's pissing a lot of people off is they did not give any warning. They did not say this is on the chopping block. They did not say, hey, relax. This is going to happen. It's going to happen in such a time frame. People didn't get time to offload or anything.
Oh, there was absolutely some form of insider trading going on right there. That all of the RCs sold all of their copies of these 4 cards.
We don't know for
it's
sure.
Alleged.
Right.
I
We don't know for
alleged.
sure. But
So I believe that. Like, yes, but let's look at this, right? Let's say they do come out and say, okay, in 6 months these are going to be banned. Does that make this worse? Does it make it the same, or does it make it better? Because now you know in 6 months the value of your card is going to be shit, and so instead of being right now, like the day of the banning, over the course of 6 months, everything drops, and everyone's like, well, shit, there's no reason to buy this card anymore, and everyone starts offloading it. So guess what? You still have the same scenario. Prices tank. So are you less mad or are you more mad?
Well, for people like me, and I didn't feel this way because, like I said, I didn't have a lot of stake in the game for it. But being bipolar just would have thrown me off the rocker, and I would like if I was someone with more stake in the game, I probably would have flipped over, got mad, got pissed, like everybody else did. But thanks to my training and my medication, I was able to keep a cooler head about it, even though I only have 2 cards in the stake of it. I'm like, this automatic reaction, instead of giving us time to think about it, like if my wife wants to like rearrange the living room, she kind of got to give me a couple weeks in advance so my brain wraps around it. That's the kind of change issues I have, right? So she does, if that ever happens, right? But so something like that would just help people to change, being more acceptable to them than just be like ripping off the Band-Aid, because this was a pretty big Band-Aid to rip off.
Oh yeah,
this wasn't a Band-Aid. They ripped a freaking arm off.
Right?
Yeah, they ripped that clean off.
They took him out because they were too expensive game pieces. Maybe, I don't know. There's a lot to speculate when it comes to why they banned him. I think one of the players at the table of the group played the combo they mentioned, turn 1, all this powerful crap, which is very theorized that happens not all the time. And they got salty over it, and they're like, boom, we're going to ban this. It's like, oh, we actually played against high-powered for once like this. This is too powerful. What if everybody else starts doing this? Oh, no.
Then you're all on the same level, and it doesn't matter.
Right.
It's a salt ban. One person had all this happen to them, and now they're pissed about it.
I'm so disappointed. One of the only cards that are solely for Commander. I'm 4 years old. Scam. Rigged, right? No, I feel you there. Oh, wow. I thought I was watching SFT, not a channel about that rhymes with Judy. I personally didn't care, but I knew I was going to need a lot of popcorn to watch it play out in the community. That's right.
See, I'm with Backwoods. Like, I honestly didn't really care for the bans. Like, the only thing that really hurt me was I can't play Mana Crypt and Urza anymore, and I pulled my Mana Crypt out of a pack by random, so I didn't really invest too much into it. But I do feel for the people that went out, spent their hard-earned money to build their decks and play this the way they like to play. Like, I feel for them. But the thing is my own personal thing is I honestly didn't care, because I'm not huge into competitive Commander, nor do I see it ever becoming a very fun format for me to play. So that's why I'm like, fans, okay, whatever, moving on. But I do sympathize with everyone else that is going through this. I'm not for the bans, but I'm not 100% against them either. Like, Nadu definitely needed to get out of it.
I agree with
But the other cards, like, Dockside is like a 50-50 for me. I really didn't care. I don't see it as a bad card to ban, but at the same time, I feel like it was good. Mana Crypt is the one that I'm like, really, seriously, like, come on. Like, if you're not going to ban Soul Ring and a couple others, why are you banning Mana Crypt? Jeweled Lotus as well. It's like you made it for Commander, now you're banning it. Like, that seems retarded.
I don't think they're
sorry, bad.
I don't think they're going to ban Soul Ring for two reasons. One, it's kind of the mascot of Commander, and two, Commander don't run
absolutely
logo.
Yeah, no, Soul Ring is the like besides like Arcane Signet, Command Tower, and Soul Ring. Those are like the poster childs of Commander as far as like the casual, fun, what's the word? Affordable cards that are going to go in every deck.
Oh yeah, and like you know, like I remember I'd be salty in some situations, but I can't be too salty because my Dockside is now going to be worth nothing really because it's not really played in other formats
right now. It's not played in any other format.
Right. But see, a long time ago, I had a Liliana the Val who was worth $100 plus. I had a Damnation worth $100. They reprinted Liliana. They reprinted Damnation. I was kind of sad that the price value dropped to like $9 on both the cards for a minute. But I was complaining about them. But don't get me wrong, I love the reprints because it made the cards cheaper for everybody instead of just me. But when I was complaining about the price drops, people were like, "Suck it up, Buttercup." And I'm like, okay, well, this comes around. People's Dockside extortionists and stuff dropping price. I'm like, well, you told me suck it up, Buttercup. Now it's your turn. You know,
I understand. I understand your sentiment with that one, but it's also kind of an apples and oranges where yours was based on reprint. These are based on ban. So they're kind of like have different categories. But at the same time, like I understand both sentiments of being upset with the price drop. At least with the reprint price drop, it's still playable and it will go up over time if they decide not to like print machine go burr every set, you know, for that card. So like Liliana has been creeping back up in price even for like the Dom United one. I just looked at it the other day. I was like, oh wow, these are over $20 again. I remember when they were dropping down to like $8-9. Yeah, they're climbing back up because Dom United's out of print. Liliana is being used in modern still as a card here and there, so it still has some playability to it. And I guarantee you, if they don't reprint it again in the next year or two, she'll climb back up to the 30 range. I guarantee it.
Savannah Line says I bought a book promo crypt for $300, now $90. My Caverns crypt is $150, now $65. And all them folk that kept opening Commander Legends for Joel, I'm not going to finish that sentence, but yeah. Sealed Practice is worthless Crimson Van. Not all of it. There's still good cards in there, but I see what you're saying and where you're going because I agree. All product where these cards were in Master 22. That's true. In some states, I think it's illegal not to include Soul Ring Commander deck. Well, not all my Commander decks run Soul Ring or Fast Mana like that. That's colorless. In some countries, it's illegal to play the game. Might be a good idea. All right, but still, it's gonna be rough. Like we're all gonna have our cynical parts about it, but time. They say time heals all wounds, which in this case these are pretty deep gashes. So we'll see how long that goes, especially for people who react and overreact. It's going to take a while.
You're calling me out like that?
Well, I wasn't calling you out in general.
No, I'm just messing around, dude. I'm here for a good time.
Right, but just to remind people out in the world, and I believe everybody here agrees, do not threaten people's lives.
No.
Remember, people are people. We love people. We care about people. And we care about the safety of others. So keep that in mind as you think and brew up these things. We're here for positive vibes. And we reached a point in the cynicalness of our life that we are coming to.
Hit that subscribe button. Become a part of the creep.
Too much to take. So it's lit. MTG3, are you game? Rise, creep, rise. Building a following as we gain. Spitting fire like a dragon. No one can bring us down. MTG3 in the house. We own this town. Ripping through the beats with a fury.
Woo! That was one good long show, but now we've got to a point where we're going to relax, chillax, let the vibes flow. Let the vibes flow.
Whoosh, ba, ba, ba.
I was about to say goose fry by myself. but we got to a point where we missed out on something yesterday that Hillbilly's going to do today, and that is
Billy will play pieces in hand. Magic the Gathering is where he stands. Booster stack up like a dream in this world. He's the dream of opening fire, emotions on the wire. His hands are his tools for the fight, flipping cards all through the night. Hopes and dreams in every pack. He won't ever turn his back. Fire in every pack. He opens.
All right, got a pack of Bloom Barrel.
pack opening time. Ooh, look at that. Look at that. It's a magic card. Ooh.
Yep. Rust Shield Rampager token. Early Winter. Mountain.
Oh, Fecund Green Shell. Nice.
Yep. Bandit's Talents.
Ugh, that card.
Last Mentor.
Yep.
Former Escorts. Teapot Slinger. Sticky Tongue Sentinel.
Yep.
Conduit Electricity. Bark Form Harvester. Dazzling Denial. Nocturnal Hunger. Outstruckler and Sonar Strike.
Sonar Strike. Whoop, whoop. Look at
Right.
that. Look at that. Whoop, whoop. I'm still relaxing. I'm driving. I think today's today's show went very well for what it was.
Yeah.
I don't think it went the same way everybody thought it was going to be, but like I think we got a lot of off our chest, a lot of thoughts out of our chest. We have different opinions about things, but we have things that we go with. Any last thoughts before we head to the shill section? People want to share.
No.
I'm vibing.
All right. So we're gonna start with Manic Crypt Keeper. I'm gonna blow you up, and you can show your channel out.
Oh yeah, if you want to see me yell some more, come check out the Manicrypt podcast on YouTube, Spotify, everywhere you get your podcasts. We did a 2-hour episode yesterday complaining about the bands that'll be coming out this Sunday with our local EDH expert who's been playing for like 20 years. He's a cool guy. And I'm trying to get back on 3 MTGO gameplays a week: Modern, Legacy, Vintage, Dual Commander, Standard, Pioneer, Pauper, whatever I want to play that week. Yeah, thanks for having me.
Oh yeah, thanks for being here. We're gonna roll over to Captain Waffles.
We hit over 1,000 subs recently, which was wild. So if you haven't seen it, we're doing a giveaway this weekend on Saturday for the 250 and 500 sub count. I will be streaming tomorrow morning some Dustmorn draft, and I just asked that everybody go and check out this video here that I'm about to link in chat if you want something funny to watch and have a good laugh. But yeah, just thank you everybody that's subscribed recently, and just need that watch time now. So everybody go watch videos.
Now we're gonna roll on to Are you here? Are you here? You know what I'm talking about? Meaningful. Ding,
The
ding,
bang
ding,
continues.
Ding, ding. All right, we're gonna roll over to Hillbilly.
What's up, everybody? 672 subs, awesome. Let's keep on liking, commenting on all the videos. Let's keep the channels growing. And I know some of us do lives, and you could easily go back and just leave a little comment on the lives after the lives are over with. Let's continue on growing the channels, and I'll be streaming again some more Arena at 2 o'clock Central Standard Time every day, 9 a.m. and 2 o'clock Central Time every day.
Sounds good. All right, are we back? No, I'm trying again. Nope. All right, rolling over to Super Fast Tortoise. I want to thank you guys for being here. Thank you for being so lively in chat. Thank you for liking the video. Thank you for if you just subscribed. I appreciate that a lot. If this is a rewatch, hit that subscribe button. Leave a comment. Tell us your opinions about the bannings. Tell us what you think should be done to correct it or correct the bannings or make it different that you think would be more appropriate for the situation. I'd love to know. And remember, you rock, you rule. You guys are awesome. You guys are amazing. Oh, I forgot to put KJ's link in there. Sorry, KJ.
Yeah, you forgot to even bring me up. It's all right. It's all right. I'm chop liver.
I thought for some reason I kept thinking, yeah, let's let you go.
Hey, that was wild. I was enjoying it. Michael Jackson meme eating popcorn and everything. Join me tonight this afternoon, a couple hours from now, 3:00. I'm going to be with Investables Collectibles. We're going to talk about some Halloween stuff. So join us for that. Also, every Wednesday, join me at 5:00 Central Time when I'm with Jesse Hellwheeler for Procrastinate Across the Ocean.
Woo-hoo. Yes, join them. And with that, my friends, I want to say thank you guys for tagging along today. Oh, look, Moving Full, you're back.
Hey.
Is there anything you want to say really quick before we close the stream out? Even though
everyone say hi. Everyone say, call your mother and tell her that you love her.
All right, that's good advice. If you can do that, do that. All right. So have a wonderful day. And tonight's Friday. There's going to be F&M tonight. We're going to play Commander tonight. Yes, ban list will be acknowledged as part of the thing because we're casual. That's it. But I think we're going to be looking for one player tonight because it'll be me, Hillbilly, and Brad right now. So check it out. Be on attack. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Thank you, Mana Crypt, for being awesome.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, Captain Waffles had a bolt out. Thank you, Captain Waffles. KJ, Moving. You guys rock. And you made today's episode extra special. I appreciate that. And with that, my friends, we're going to roll out with the outro.
I totally want to thank you for watching today's video. I really appreciate it, 100%. Like this video as if it's your favorite kind of pizza, dude. And if you wouldn't mind, consider smashing that subscribe button and hit that bell for notifications. Every one of these things you do helps the channel out a lot.
The moves, the strategies, and the flair. Super fast quarters is running the show.